Come on, Smooth. It's jiggling. Hey garden maters, welcome to Corner Homestead. So today is another one of those nasty rainy days, and I thought, well, I'm going to take the day and go ahead and do some preserving of some of my foods. First thing I am working on are carrots. Managed to get a good bag of carrots. I'm not even sure how many pounds it was, not too many, but I'm going to go ahead and get those preserved because I don't want them to go bad, and the best way to do that is to can them. So I've got my pressure canner out, just got done peeling all the carrots. Now I'm going to get ready and slice them, and we're going to pack them up and get them canned. As soon as I get done doing the carrots, I'm going to work on freezing broccoli. I have about 14 crowns of broccoli that I just acquired. And in order to keep it from going bad, I want to get it preserved. I wish you could can broccoli, but unfortunately you cannot. So I have to freeze that. In order to do that, I need to get it cut, cleaned, blanched, and ready for the freezer. So I'm going to do the carrots first, and while they're processing in the pressure canner, I'll work on the broccoli. So let's get going. Let's get it started. Okay, so I already washed my carrots and peeled them. Took off the ends. And I've already started getting all of them sliced. These are the last few that I have left to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and slice them. And I know I should be using probably a better knife. But I'm so used to using a regular steak knife for everything. I have a machine, a slicer that would slice these carrots for me. Problem is, the machine is so heavy, and I can't really see getting it out just to do these little bit of carrots because there's so much darn cleanup with it. So I'll just do them by hand and get them finished. And I do pretty good with them. So go ahead and finish them up, and then I'll get them into the jars. Okay, so you can see I have all of my carrots sliced now. Really wasn't a big bag, maybe just 1 or 2 pound bag. So I'm not really going to get a whole lot out of this, but that's a lot of carrots still that I do not want to go bad. So now they're sliced, get them jarred up. Okay, so my jars, I just took them out of hot water. They're not hot, they're just very warm, because these are going to be raw packed. We don't have to do too much with them. We're just going to put them into the jars. Just going to use my spoon. Because I'm not sure how many I'll get. I'm just using pint-sized jars. You want to fill them to the 1-inch headspace. You can pack these down as much as you want. You don't have to leave them loose like if you were doing corn. So I'm hoping to get at least the 3-pint jars out of it. Okay, so this is really good. I ended up getting the 4 pints instead of 3 that I was hoping for. More the merrier. So if you were going to put salt into this, Of course, this is where you would do it. I do not can with salt. I don't think it's needed. I prefer to put the salt in later as I'm using whatever I'm canning. So the only thing we have to do with these jars now is fill them up with boiling water. Put it in my tea kettle. I'm going to fill it up, give it that 1-inch spacing. So now that the water is in, we want to take our debubbler. I use this little silicone spurtle. You just want to make sure all those air bubbles are out. So after they're debubbled, make sure that they have the appropriate water still. If you need to add a little more. Some of these just need a little bit topping off. And because there is no grease involved anywhere in carrots, I've just got a wet paper towel. I'm going to go around the top. Make sure there is no food particles or anything that is going to give it a bad seal. Want to make sure it gets the best seal possible. We're just going to go ahead and get our lids on. And put our rings on. Make sure to only put them finger tight. Now we're just going to get them into the canner. So now of course my canner has been on. Got my appropriate water in there. 2 tablespoons of vinegar. Going to go ahead and set our jars in. And go ahead and get our lid on. Nope. There's a little bit of water there. And wait for it to start steaming. So now while I'm waiting for the canner to start steaming so I can get the weight onto it, I'm going to start working on my broccoli. 14 crowns I have of this. I won't get them all done today, but I'm going to get started. Let me show you how I do this. So with the broccoli, the only thing we're going to do is clean it very well. We want to cut it into pieces that you would see in frozen broccoli. So we're just going to cut a lot of the little stems to make them manageable. And all of these pieces I'm going to put into the sink because I have it filled with very cold water right now. So we're going to put it in there just to make sure that we are able to give it a good rinsing later. So the canner has now been blowing the steam out for 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and add my weight. My weight is set for 10 pounds of pressure. You may be a little different depending on your elevation. Always check to be sure first. I'm going to go ahead and put it on. Wait for the pressure to come up. Wait for it to start rocking, and then we'll start timing it. So once that starts jiggling back there, and we know that it's up to pressure, and we start timing it. There has been a lot of controversy on how long you do carrots. A lot of people will tell you it only takes 25 minutes. Other people will tell you it takes 35 minutes. I'm going to do mine for 25 minutes. I've always done them for 25. Never had any problems. So once it starts doing its thing, 25 minutes on the clock. And now I'll get back to my broccoli cutting. So I got the first crown all cut up. This is what is left of it. Now if you want, you can peel these, cut them down into smaller pieces. May do that with some of it, or just give them to the chickens. Just when you go to cook them, you have to cook them a little longer than the florets, just because they're so tough. So the broccoli, when I got the broccoli, all 14 crowns of it, wasn't in the best of condition. So so it wasn't pristine. So if I find any spots like this, I'm just going to toss them out and give them to the chickens. We got to jiggle. 25 minutes on the clock. Come on, Shmoo. It's jiggling. Gotta do the jiggle dance. No? So this mess is only from 2 crowns. But let me show you what comes after you cut it all up. So you can see I have it all here in the sink in the cold water, and I'm just making sure that it's very good and cleaned. Yes, it was in its packaging, of course, but you just want to make triple sure that everything is clean. This one looks like one for the chickens. Gives you time to re-inspect it, make sure there's nothing else in it. And now we're going to put on some water so we can get it blanched. Okay, so our water is boiling. So now we want to go ahead and put our broccoli into it. You don't want to overcrowd it. And I didn't use a very big pot, so I'll get our broccoli in. I do want to try to get in as much as I can, but you want to make sure it's all below that water line. There we go. Then we'll get it back up to a boil, and we'll time it from there. Okay, so again, you might be saying, how long do you leave it boil? So that is another discrepancy. Like the carrots, how long they need to go, how long the broccoli needs to boil is also something that is a debate between so many people. Some people will say 45 seconds. Some people will say 3 minutes. Some say 4, some say 5, depending on elevation. I'm going to do 3 minutes like I've always done. 3 minutes, and then we get it out and we put it back into the sink with fresh, cold ice water to stop the cook time. Our timer just went off for the canner. Go ahead and turn it off, and as always, walk away. Want to let that pressure come back down before you take off that weight. So it's been 3 minutes, and you can see how much nicer green in color that this is. Go ahead and turn it off, get it into the cold water. So now that it's all cooled off into the ice water, we want to get it out. What I usually do is just put it on towels. You want to dry it as well as you can before we flash freeze it. I'm almost there for this small batch. So like I said, I just put mine on a towel and I let it drain. If you have a salad spinner, I'm sure you could do it in one of those. But I put it on a towel and then I blot it dry, or as dry as possible, with another towel. There we go. This is what we have from 2 crowns of broccoli. Okay, so I have all of my broccoli onto the tray, and I have it as even as I possibly could get it. As much in a single layer as I could get it, even though it's not. So now I'm going to put this into the freezer, and it's going to flash freeze for a few hours. And then I'll get it back out and put it into its final packaging. So into the freezer, it's going to go. So our canner is now depressurized. All the pressure has come down on it. The button is down. Everything is good. The overpressure plug is in. So now it is safe to remove the weight. We'll go ahead and get our carrots out, see how they did. So go ahead and open the pressure canner. As always, tilt the lid away from you when you open it now. That is very hot. I'll get the carrots out. So there are the carrots. They look pretty good. Excellent, actually. This is the last jar that I did, so that was the one that did not have a whole lot. Wasn't completely full. All the other three, perfect. Water is clean, so that is great because that tells me there was no siphoning of the jars. Perfect 4 little pints of carrots. Okay, I just got the broccoli out of the freezer. And you can hear, I didn't leave it in there maybe an hour. I didn't want it to be completely solid and full of ice. But it is frozen enough now to put into the bags. So I'm going to go ahead and put it into the bags and get it sealed. So, of course, 2 crowns of broccoli, 2 bags of broccoli to put into my freezer. Not too bad. I've only got about 12 more crowns to go. But I'm not going to do any more tonight because it's getting late. Got to get something done for supper. It's been a lot of work just to do the 2 bags of broccoli and my 4 pints of carrots. Ooh. They've sealed, but they're still a little too hot to handle. Now, if you don't have a food saver and you can't vacuum pack them, you can put them into the Ziploc bags. Make sure they are freezer bags. Doesn't have to be a Ziploc brand, just make sure they are freezer bags. They should be good for at least a few months that way into your freezer. Of course, vacuum sealed is going to give you a longer time. They'll be good for up to a year or 2 in the vacuum sealed bags. So I don't know if I have made this a productive day. At least I did get some things done that I wanted to get done. Mainly the carrots because they were on the cusp. They weren't going to last much longer. And the broccoli now is the same way, so I have to get all this broccoli done. Thankfully, it is the weekend upon us, and I will be able to do more. Tomorrow's going to be nasty and windy, and another good day to just sit here and do some more of the broccoli. So hopefully by the end of this weekend, I'll have the rest of the broccoli done. Of course, some of it is going to go to the chickens. If you don't know what to do with broccoli or carrots, now you know. Carrots you can freeze as well. You can blanch them and freeze them. Now, I have done that in the past, and I don't know why. After I froze them in vacuum sealed bags, they still turned black on me, and I don't know why. So now, my choice of preserving carrots is canning. Now that I have the pressure canner, it's definitely my choice. They say you can water bath canned carrots. I beg to differ. I've tried that in the past as well, and it never worked out. So if you have a pressure canner, be sure to pressure can your carrots. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. Always encourage to. Love to watch the garden maters grow. So until next time, I love y'all. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you on the next video. Well, we could have had broccoli for supper, shmoo, but I done sealed it all. I guess we got to eat something else. No broccoli, no carrots. Not today.